felt like last season no one wanted the South. You take it, you take it, you take it. We'll see who takes it this go around. Carolina trying to get back into that conversation with a couple pieces on the offense after a resurgent moment late in this year for their young quarterback. Some edges to shore up that defense as well. Ryan Wilson, I'm coming to you first here. It's Tetairoa McMillan, their first overall pick in this draft. They get a big, long, lengthy, rangy receiver for Bryce Young to use in that offense. I feel a little redundancy in body type with Xavier Legette and what they got last year. How do you like the way that this passing attack is aided by the ability of Tetairoa McMillan?
I give it an A, and I liked it until I heard your comp, and then I loved it because I knew that I'm going to be right and you're going to be wrong. Here's the thing, and Bryce Young, no one's going to dispute that he had a tough start to his career, got benched in year 2, and then came back and finished strong. And I love the idea of giving him a jump ball target in Ted McMillan. I think Xavier Legette gives you a little more juice down the field. We talked about, what was it, the Chiefs game? Had he caught that?
Similar in body type, not ability, my point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But they came back and got a different body type in Jimmy Horn Jr., who will have some return opportunities as well there. So I think, and we talked about this with the Texans, you never have enough big targets for your quarterback. So I'm all on board with this. You can quibble about whether number 8 overall is too much. I'm okay with it. I love the edge rushers they got in rounds 2 and 3 because they had to get better on defense. And I think Cam Jackson, huge defensive lineman who I liked a little bit more than where he was drafted. And then Mitchell Evans, your guy at Notre Dame, I thought was had a really good season. Not necessarily dynamic, but he can do a lot of what you ask him to when you have JT Sanders there as well. So I love this draft. I love what Dan Morgan did. I love what Dave Canales is doing. I'm excited for this team.
This is an A draft for me. And nothing really down the board from round 3 on. Those are whatever to me. But pick 1 and pick 2,
whatever.
Home runs. Tetairoa McMillan, the 2 most valuable positions outside of quarterback in the NFL. I think they just nailed it. Ted McMillan, he is the best pure wide receiver in this draft class. Travis Hunter, whatever, two-way player. This guy's a true number 1, and he has ball skills. And what does Bryce Young do? He gives his wide receivers chances, and those guys last year just were not good enough in those situations. T-Mac's exceptional in those situations. And then second round, you got a guy, Nick Scorton, who was miscast last year as a 4-3 defensive end. He gained some weight. He was 285. Go back to his sophomore year when he was in a 2-point stance at Purdue, which he's going to be in Carolina. They run a 3-4. He's going to be a 3-4 outside linebacker. He was so good as a pass rusher that season. I think we see that guy because he's still so young. Second youngest player in this draft class.
All right, down to New Orleans, where there's plenty of uncertainty at the quarterback position. They add more uncertainty to it in the form of Tyler Shuck after going with Kelvin Banks 9th overall. It's a lovely piece there at tackle, but to protect whom? Ryan Wilson.
Yeah, we'll find out. We don't know what Derek Carr's future is going to be. They have Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler on the roster. They got Tyler Shuck at pick 40, and we'll all find out together. But Kelvin Banks, we know exactly what he's going to do. Ryan Ramczyk is retired. Trevor Penning, 5th-year option, not picked up, and he has struggled. Looking down the board there, I love Jonas Sanker out of UVA. They didn't have a lot of things to be excited about at UVA football last season, but Jonas Sanker was one of them. Danny Stutzman, got some run as a top 50 guy early in the fall, and then Quincy Riley is a get-after-it, undersized cornerback who plays really tough. And Devin Neal, talked to him at the Senior Bowl, ran to the 4.5s. He plays much quicker than that. So they're adding pieces, and this team is certainly better than they were 3 days ago. But the question, Mike, of course, as I give him an A-, is who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, that's obviously the biggest question mark, but it just wasn't a draft to really add quarterbacks. So that's the biggest sort of weird pick for me. Tyler Shuck, top of the 2nd round, just not a great track record of guys in that range. So you've seen it at the NFL, especially when they're, going to be 26 years old as rookies. But I think they have 6 guys who within their rookie contracts could be starters. I love this draft. It's an A draft for me. Kelvin Banks was my OT1. Going down the board, Danny Stutzman was my LB3. He is your transition plan from Demario Douglas. And then Quincy Riley, definitely a corner that fits into that New Orleans Saints cornerback room. One of their biggest needs. I think he could be an early starter. He's played a ton of football at Louisville. He's scrappy. He can play a little bit of man coverage. So this draft for the New Orleans Saints, a much-needed turnaround for this franchise.
We're always good for a Seinfeld reference.
What do you got?
This is Atlanta in the Bizarro World episode. This is Feldman, not Kramer. Year after year, we get these position players, these flashy types going to Atlanta. This was exactly the opposite. Off-ball backer, edge, safety, and then a tackle. Is this exactly what Atlanta needed, Ryan?
Yes, and this feels like Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot after years and years and years of drafting skill position players in the top 5 and top 10. And home run after home run. Jalen Walker, you might say, well, why did they give a 1st-round pick to come back and get James Pierce Jr. at 26? Well, because he's a top 15 talent. And if you get a 1st-round pick this year, for certain, as opposed to what may or may not be there next year, I'm okay with that. Then they got Mike's guy, Xavier Watts, the safety out of Notre Dame. How many interceptions the last 2 seasons?
13.
13. That translates next to Jesse Bates.
Yeah.
And then finally, Billy Bowman Jr., undersized safety, ran in the 4.3s, I believe. I was pretty impressed with that. I didn't play quite that fast, but if the idea is to get more guys on that side of the ball that Raheem Morris can use, I'm giving this an A+. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm going to go A-, and it's just because of the fact that they gave up a future first-round pick. It felt like, to me, Terry Fontenot, GM, just being like, I got to save my job. We haven't made the playoffs in, what, 7 years or something? Like, they needed this draft to be a home run. But I do think it is going to be a home run. So that's the only reason. Like, those edge guys are high-end athletes. They're perfect for Raheem Morris' scheme. And I've been doing this a decade, draft analysis. Every single year I'm writing down edge need right, for the Falcons, edge need, ever since John Abraham retired there. So this is the first year they've really knocked the edge need out the park.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have presented us the most consistency in this division going on like a half-decade now. And taking a look at their board now, it's Emeka Egbuka to shore up that passing attack. And I know you guys have your wide receiver ones. I know I didn't do a full ranking. I love Emeka Egbuka and what he represents in a maybe post-Godwin era in Tampa Bay. It's an aging group. It's an injured group coming back. And it's a passing attack and a quarterback that loves to work that ball out into space. What does Egbuka do, and what did you like beyond it, Ryan?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. I was going to say I don't want to tell you this, but I do want to tell you this. The Buccaneers were going to take Ted McMillan had he been there.
Oh, wow.
But you were exactly right. Professional receiver, Emeka Egbuka. And I think he gets short shrift, especially in this pre-draft process, because we spent so much time talking about the electric playmakers. He is every bit those guys, and he's going to come in right away and be a huge part of that offense. You talk about Chris Godwin, getting older, coming back from injury. They do similar things, but they're going to be on the field at the same time together as well. I gave this draft an A. They circled back and got Mike's guy, Benjamin Morrison. He would have been a first-round pick had he been healthy. He had the hip injury. Has fantastic tape, and we talk about it all the time. His matchup against Marvin Harrison Jr., he won that, and it may not have been particularly close. David Walker, that's your guy, so I'll let you talk about your guy, David Walker.
David Walker, this guy is exceptional, man. He is the body type that no offensive tackle wants to block. He's 6 foot, 263. At the Senior Bowl when he went to the Bull Rush, not a single guy stopped him. Even Anthony Belton, 345-pound tackle Anthony Belton, he had on ice skates going backwards. I think he's going to be, put him next to, Yaya Diaby on that defensive line. That is a powerful duo on third downs. And this is an A+ draft for me. Another no-skip draft. Every single guy higher on my board than where they come off the board. When that's the case, that's an A+.
Trying to stay right where they are. That's at the top of the division. Taking a look at those odds next season. Tampa Bay, once again, your favorite. And it did go without mentioning here, guys. Atlanta did give up their first next season to get back into that late first round this year. I might have to offer just a lone demerit. We won't change the grade, but maybe come in for some office hours. They are second favorites in the division.
Blue Horseshoe loves Carolina.
More to come here on CBS Sports HQ. We're on to the NFC North, where, Mike, they finally did it. They did it for you. They did it for the cheer. They did it for Green Bay. I got a wide receiver in the first. We break down next.